I must have seen it. I didn't buy it. Thankfully, because now I've got it for free.
Yeah. I do like getting things for free, except when like somebody wants to give me maybe like a free stab to the leg or something like that, which in some ways it kind of feels like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. A while back, a long time ago, I got another free comic because of not quite this level of drama, not quite Slick Jimmy level, but it was something to do with Nasser. What did I do with that? I know I've still got it somewhere. I should share it with you. I don't even remember. Yeah, there was someone a while back that had some sort of drama with Nasser, and I guess some deal fell through, but the comic was already mostly done. So, like, somebody just threw it out there for, I think, like, the artist just threw it out there for free. And I want to say it was Dr. something or other.
Dr. something or other.
Like Dr. Satan?
I don't know.
That sound familiar?
I would totally make a story called Dr. something or other, though.
I feel like it was called Dr. Satan.
I don't know.
Like
I've
maybe
never heard
with
of this.
a K. I'll find it eventually. Maybe I'll post it to the Dillard.
But, you know, speaking of Nasser, we will be discussing one of his books on Friday.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. One that I'm kind of excited for because I helped back it the first time, and it didn't succeed. And I was utterly disappointed, especially with how much work we did to try to promote that. Jason had even come on the channel. He was the first guest I ever had on the solo show, the Hyposia, since we've come back. And I haven't had many guests on that yet. I need to schedule more people. But, you know, we did so much to push him, and it still failed. So I'm glad it succeeded this time because I want my fucking book.
And that was, what's it called again?
The Secret Comics Presents.
I backed it. I backed it because of Jiminy.
Yeah. At least it was all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I effectively only backed it once because I got my money back the first time.
Yeah. Was it on Kickstarter the first time?
No, I think it was
Or
Indiegogo. They just went with all or nothing because you can choose either or.
Did they have only a $50 or $500 goal last time?
No.
Where's their goal from here? Oh. Yeah, well, they're up to 5,400, so
Yeah, they're doing fine.
over 1,000.
Wait, 5,400. Yeah, they need to get to 30,000.
Well, they've got 20 days left, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. I wanted to see Nasser shave his head.
Oh, is that a stretch goal?
Well, it was 30,000 in the last one. I don't know if it's the same like tier of stretch goal in this one, if they like redid the prices and things. But yes, it's supposedly still a stretch goal.
I barely remember what Nasser looks like. It's been so long since he's actually done. Like, I think the last time I saw him was probably one of his lunch streams where he was eating a hot dog or like chili or something.
Yeah. Jason keeps trying to get him on for this. It's hard to get him on anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know why. I'll be nice to him. I mean, as nice I am to anybody else. I don't dislike Nasser. I mean,
well, you know,
I don't know how nice I am to anybody in general, but as nice as I am to anybody else.
Well, you know why I said Jiminy was probably not Cherry's, you know, in Cherry's good graces, was because one of the other people that he formally denounced was Nasser. So I was like, I'm guessing that the fact that Jiminy's working with Nasser is probably not a good thing in Cherry's eyes. So
Says, well, you're not a dick, that is for sure. I resent that. My middle name is Richard.
That's right.
Anyway, welcome
How's it
to the
going?
Vomitorium Weekday show here on the 28th of April, 2021. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer. How you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I just stocked back up on soda so I can make it through all these casts. I need my sugar water since your brain uses up like a third of all of your calorie content.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're aware that I was up extremely late last night for me.
Yes.
Because I actually had a big project. I mean, it wasn't a big project, but it was it was a late project, let's put it that way, that I had to get done this morning, and especially had to get it done because I had my bi-monthly employee review today. So I was up very late last night. And guess what? The review went well.
Oh, nice.
I'm apparently doing a good job because I did finish my project.
Yeah, okay. That's good. That's good.
At like 8 o'clock this morning or so.
Yeah, I was up until... Because you went to bed before I did. We were in a call with Dillard pretty late.
Yeah.
And, see, I was up until 6-ish or whatever. I started playing that stupid demo for Metopia.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. I'm a big RPG guy. I've played a lot of RPGs in my life. I also really liked Tomodachi Life, which is by the same studio that made Metopia. Tomodachi Life is kind of the precursor to Mitomo for anybody who played Mitomo. Tomo kind of means buddy. Tomodachi full out means friend, so that's like why the shorter means buddy in that case. And Tomodachi Life was a sim game where you just took your Miis, you can make them of anybody really, but they could be you and your friends. That's why it was Friend Life. And you just dumped them onto this island. They started interacting with each other. It's kind of like a drama TV show almost, but it was more funny than not because it was stupid and made so kids could be entertained by it. But I think even an adult could. I put a lot of hours into playing that game. So I was looking forward to this game thinking, okay, it's going to have RPG mechanics and it's going to have some sim mechanics, which is good because one thing that's often missing from role-playing games is the role-play aspect when it comes to video games. Mm-hmm. And it kind of has that there, but they've had to water that end of the sim stuff down for the sake of it being an RPG. They had to work some of it into mechanics in the game, and my biggest problem is that the RPG mechanics suck. Right? It's a turn-based game, mostly, but it's a turn-based game that's basically auto chess, right? You've got your things on both sides. You control your main character that you start with, but the party members that you pick up, which are Miis, you can design them or pull your actual Miis out of your Mii Maker into them. They all go on their own. You can pick what job they have. You can pick like their personality and stuff like that. But everything they do is automatic, just like the enemies. The only thing you control in any battle is your turn, or there's certain things that you can do as the the player, not the character, right? Like before any of your character's turns, you can pause it. And you can put the characters that have like a status condition on them in the safe zone, which removes them from battle so they can't attack or anything during that time, but it also speeds up their recovery on the status condition. So, or you can take them out of there, or you can use like potion type things before the turn. So there are some things you can do, but battle for the most part kind of just plays itself out, aside from you picking which person your guy attacks.
Yeah, sounds like kind of dumbed down RPG, like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest kind of.
Yeah. Except even Mystic Quest allowed you to control both people.
Yeah, that's a shame. I guess they're aiming for what the Japanese think are a dumb American audience, maybe?
I don't know, because I think the game is roughly the same in Japan. I think they're thinking kids are dumber than they used to be.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
kids these days.
I played and beat Final Fantasy 1 when I was 10.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, thankfully I had the game when I was 10 because of my parents, but I beat it when I was really young too. It's like, I don't think the game is that hard. It's confusing for like a kid. It'll take a really long time, but thankfully saves exist, and you could totally, like, any kid could eventually make it through that game.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a shame because it looked cute and it looked like it had some fun RPG elements. So there's like, I saw a wizard there and
Yeah.
other little.
They've got some classes.
Yeah.
There's like the warrior class, wizard, cleric, thief. 2 non-standard classes. There is a chef, who's pretty cool, and there's a pop star class, which I guess is, you know, like the bard class in some degree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just pretty good, but it's so watered
Hey,
down.
what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, sound like you're drunk.
Nah, I'm not drunk. You're drunk. I'm listening to Marsupial talk all kinds of crap. You know, Mozart created a concerto when he was 10. You beat Final Fantasy.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, which one is the greater achievement? I guess we'll just, you know, will be the
We'll never know.
Mozart
mystery of our
couldn't
time.
beat Final Fantasy. It didn't exist
I
yet.
bet he couldn't.
I bet you if he was around and Final Fantasy was around, he probably would have lost.
He probably would have been too distracted by Uematsu's like amazing music.
Yeah, he would have been like, he would have been great on OC Remix.
Yeah, he would have just like kept putting the game down. It's like, this song is good. Let me see if I can play it by ear.
That's right.
So what did I miss so far? What are you guys talking about?
Oh, we haven't even gotten to a subject yet. It was just we were talking about last night and this morning, just warming up into the subject.
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't missed anything.
Oh, I liked your new comic. Obviously, I had already seen it, but I tell you, that last panel just makes me laugh. Even though I've seen it, every time I see it again, it just makes me laugh.
What is it about him that makes you laugh? Is it the expression on his face?
I think it's just the unexpected twist at the end, where he deals with the problem by shooting them all. It's just funny. It's just funny to me. The whole situation is just hilarious.
Well, I'm glad you
got
liked it. Thank you.
The most important thing was I got the joke. Yeah,
Without it
it's
having to be
it's
explained to you.
Right. Well, to be fair, John did explain it to me as he was writing. Yeah, I just thought. Did you like my my meme about the buckler?
I did. I really did like that.
Well, the first thing I thought of was Stewie going, "Oh, that's so deliciously evil," and then I found that template and put the buckler in there.
At first, I thought it was just somebody posting a picture of the book. I was like, what? And then I clicked on it. I was like, oh, somebody made something. How nice.
That's right. It's like a poster. It's a motivational poster to put up on your wall. The buckler. I asked, I was watching Adventures with Piper earlier. She has a show called The Effort Show. She was doing an unboxing, but it wasn't the buckler, unfortunately. I asked her, is it the buckler? Is that what you got? No.
Speaking of unboxing, I got a comic book today from somebody.
Who?
From Jakub Savesta. I got Vestry #2.
Oh. Where's mine?
And let me tell you this. First impressions, right? Came with an ash can as well.
Yeah.
It was good.
Like the ash can?
It
or
was
both?
both.
Okay, so it's not just the ash can this time.
Right. The ash can was better than the book, but the book was not bad. It wasn't like the first one at all. Some of the dialogue was a little bit clunky. Made me stop every now and then, like, what? Did I just listened to.
Well,
There were some misspellings.
the first issue was originally written by Jakob, right?
I don't know.
And then it was rewritten by Dylan.
Yes.
Is that how it went? Yeah. So this one, I think, was 100% Dylan, right?
Yeah. By this point in time, he's the one that come in and is doing the writing.
Yeah. So that might be a reason why it's better.
Okay. But overall, it was the book itself was a great improvement over the first book. The art, especially. There were only a few instances of wrong hands and elongated rabbit feet, but just a very few. It wasn't like the other book where it was like, big deal. Small forgivable deals this time, and it was okay. The story was all right. I was like, okay, I can dig this. It wasn't overly complicated. I didn't get the whole the whole world building thing that happened in the first one that I really hated.
Yeah.
I still, to this day, don't know the world building that was happening in the first. I don't understand it still, but they didn't focus on it, so I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of
It's probably
names of
something that
places,
will,
people, and
eventually
things.
come back around.
I hope not. It's not really important.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
talk
yes,
about
it
the
might
stuff
be.
in conversation. I don't got to hear about it in the beginning.
Yeah. No, I was saying though, if you spend that much time on it, that stuff will probably eventually come back into play at some point in time. Not saying like
I'll have
the way they did the world building, but like the actual content in there will come back around.
Yeah, I'll have a scathing critique for when that comes back around and I miss something, and they'll say, well, it was addressed in the first issue, and then I can say, well, the first issue was garbage. How could I remember that?
Hopefully they'll reintroduce it in a way that you don't have to have read the first one.
You would hope, depending
Your
on how long
shoulder
it
is.
takes.
Have you been working out? Your shoulder is glitching out.
I don't know why. I think it's because my shirt is the same color as my bedspread.
You should just
So.
never wear white or cream-colored shirts.
Clearly, yeah. Unfortunately, this was like the last shirt I had, so I'm doing laundry right now.
Just take it off.
Yeah.
No.
But one of the platforms we're on right now is Twitch, and he knows that they're not a fan of that.
You're not a fan of male nipples?
Nope.
What is going on with the world today?
So Jacob's art's getting better, huh?
It is getting better.
Cool.
That's good.
In particular, and I do mean in particular, there's a character in his story, a little floating ghost woman. You could tell her personality by the expressions on her face.
Imagine that. Oops.
You became a ghost.
I wish they could all be done by Musashi. Her art's amazing.
Yeah, but no, I have a real question. Was there enough stairs in the book?
Yes. There were stairs, just the right amount.
Really?
Okay.
Oh, is Jacob saying that the third one has no stairs?
What?
You're saying one of them had no stairs at all. I was shocked by. Maybe he was referring to the third book.
Maybe he's talking about some of his ash cans, because some of them take place in settings that wouldn't have stairs.
No.
Yeah, the ash can wasn't bad. It was kind of like a carbon copy of the first ash can, but different enough so that it was still enjoyable.
Wait a minute. Okay. I'm not seeing any stairs at all. I think he was referring to the second one.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, isn't there a long shot of a palace in the snowy mountains where there's stairs?
This is the weirdest conversation ever.
Stairs are good, especially for one of Shabby's books. It needs stairs.
Okay. On the first page, there's like a long ways away in the distance. There's a flight of stairs.
Well, there you go.
You're like flipping
Damn.
through the book, and it's right there on the first page.
Well,
Now, I've only read through this book one time.
Yeah,
I have to go and read it again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There's the stairs right there.
You
But those are
gotta
the
have
only ones
stairs.
in the whole book. That's pathetic.
Now, I saw him drawing a page, or not drawing, he uploaded a page to Mines. And that had stairs in it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No,
just steps, not like full staircases, but really focused right there heavily on the steps.
That must be from Vestry 3.
Probably. Because it was a progress shot. I doubt he would be posting progress shots of 2 if 2's already made it out to people.
Yeah, there's a palpable dearth of stairs in Vestry 2. That's fine. The first one had enough stairs for an entire series, frankly.
No. Not even close.
No?
No.
Actually, I guess it was what is it, issue 0, where it was basically just nothing but him fighting, going upstairs, like up this tower.
Like skeleton men and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the entire whatever, I keep saying episode, the entire issue was nothing but that. Which, hey, it was action packed, and it's, good for the thighs and the glutes and everything.
Yeah. Bet Dillard can make a better stairs book.
I doubt it. I don't have a lot of experience fawning over stairs.
You have to just spend
what
some
was
time
the topic going to be today?
making some. I've got some topics.
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff going on today.
There's a bunch of stuff always going on. The world's a busy place. It keeps turning.
I was saying we could probably do an entire episode on Timothy Olsen drama. Just kidding.
Yeah, but
wait, Timothy Olsen's in drama too?
Always.
Yeah, I was talking about the war campaign Nasser drama.
I think it's all related.
I don't know.
Is it?
Does any of that sound interesting? Sell it to me.
No, it doesn't. I was kidding. I don't want to talk about it.
There's accusations of pedophilia.
Yeah, but there's always accusations of pedophilia.
Where you live? What?
On the internet?
That's right. The internet is always accessible, yes.
It's been like that since day one. They turned the switch on, there was already a pedophile on some type of bulletin board.
Probably.
And my parents let me surf the internet when I was 7. That wasn't a smart idea.
There was no internet when I was 7. It's not accessible by the public. Yeah, man, this thing's glitching out. I might just have to turn it off. It's all right. People can see my messy room.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't know. I had some things. I don't know. Most of the time, I like to see if maybe Marsupial brought something, because if he did have a topic in mind, I don't want to step on his toes. I do bring the topic every single time, but I bring backup topics just in case.
I do bring topics sometimes, but today I don't really have anything.
Okay.
I will. Well, no, I won't. I won't delve into the cesspool.
So I have 2 gaming-related topics and 1 space-related topic today. Which one would you guys rather talk about?
Space.
I was going to say we talked about space yesterday, but I guess
space is pretty interesting.
Yeah, but you already did talk about video games just a little while ago.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
So, the FCC just approved Starlink's license modification. For people who don't know what that is, Starlink is a constellation of satellites by SpaceX that is just up there in orbit. They're actually low orbit satellites, not like the stuff you're used to seeing from cable companies and stuff like that, right? And they want to get in even lower. They were previously at about 1.8 to 2.1 thousand kilometers up. They're going to be lowering down between 1.3 thousand kilometers to possibly even as low as 570 kilometers for low orbit. And they were approved of that. A lot of people, a lot of other companies are causing some heat about this because it seems like unfair favor towards Starlink and SpaceX in general. But they have honestly better safety regulations towards their satellites than pretty much any company has had prior to this. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think about satellites in general?
I'm actually surprised at the sheer number of satellites they've got.
Oh yeah, because right now they've got about 28,000 or 2.8 thousand in orbit. Or
Yeah,
it's some ridiculous number.
and the number approved by the FCC is 4,408.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a lot of fucking satellites. What's the advantage to being at a lower orbit?
Okay, well, there's less refraction, right? Because the closer you are, the less particulates you have to pass light through, because you do have to send signals in and out of orbit. The good thing about Starlink is that most of their signal isn't between like satellite and direct back to Earth. A lot of it is you ping one signal up to a satellite, and then it bounces between the network before coming back down, which, widens your range of communication. And also it eliminates how much refraction you get because it's only 2 trips in and out of orbit, or in and out of the atmosphere.
I mean, obviously there's a concern about long-term, space junk.
Yeah, we had a whole episode on, or at least a whole hour of an episode on.
And I'm betting that SpaceX, being a fairly progressive, I guess you could call them, company, I'm sure that once a satellite is decommissioned, they're gonna pull it out of orbit safely or whatever, so it doesn't stay up there and clutter things up.
I bet that they secretly have some type of immolation detonation device on the inside of the satellites just to take care of it when there's no use anymore.
Bunch of C4.
Mm-hmm. And they would just blow it up so well that all the pieces will be small before it hits the atmosphere, and everything will burn up before it gets down.
Yeah, just vaporize. I mean, it's that's great. There's what's technology? What's there to be? You said what are our thoughts? I mean, it's
well, because a lot of these other companies, much like we were talking the other day with the human landing system, a lot of companies are protesting and throwing fits because it does really seem like NASA, FCC, and a bunch of these government organizations are just blindly favoring SpaceX. I mean, again, there's good reasons for it. They have a really large budget. They're high capacity. They've been able to hire a lot of intellectuals who are experts on these fields. They're just a lot bigger of an organization than any of their competitors are.
Maybe they're good at doing proposals. I mean, honestly, I for many, many years was in the space of writing proposals for contracts, big and small, some with companies, some with governments. I even wrote a proposal to bid on a project with the Nashville airport, BNA airport, which is a huge proposal, a huge project. And we lost that bid to a company that personally I think would have and probably did a worse job than we would have, but their proposal was fucking amazing. They just had people dedicated to writing these amazing multimedia astounding proposals, and ours just wasn't as impressive. But
wait, were you in charge of writing the proposal?
Yeah, I did all of them. And we were fairly successful, but this was the probably the biggest project, the biggest potential contract that we had ever gone for. And I think I was just out of my depth as far as, what they were going to be looking for in a proposal. They wanted a lot of flash and sizzle.
See, what you needed, and this is probably what does it for SpaceX, is you just needed Elon Musk to come in there and be like, hey, have you ever seen what I can do with this tech deck? And he just starts like doing tricks with his little tech deck on the table.
Yeah.
And they're just so mesmerized, like, okay, you have the contract.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it could be, and frankly, that I think if I ever went for something like that again, I'd probably hire someone, maybe just temporarily, to like put together an amazing proposal who just has really good skills with, PowerPoint or something. I don't know. Because I mean, it's amazing how much bullshit you can squeeze into a proposal for these guys, and they work.
Yeah,
like it or not.
You just
Selling
need
the
to hire
sizzle.
an old-fashioned bard with a lute to come in and just start telling them an epic about why they should give you the contract.
Mhm. Well, it is things like that. I mean, you're joking about it, but I mean, people buy. I mean, I've seen a thing about juries in like murder trials and that sort of thing. They respond better when you tell a story. Just presenting facts.
Well, because
Just
people
saying-
think in narratives.
hmm And that's I think how better, technical proposals like this tend to work. Is that like, I think where I've made a mistake is just like presenting facts. We've done this, this, and this, and this is what we're going to do for you. And I think the more impressive ones kind of tell a story of this is our company's journey, and this is the journey that we're going to take you on.
Yeah. Well, this is why I think Elon is the reason, right? Have you ever seen him in an interview? The guy is really good at like spinning a narrative out of like every venture that he's had, right? Like he can tell you the story of how solar farms came to be, or how he started doing Tesla, or why he did SpaceX. He's probably the proposal itself. Like he just goes up and he starts telling them why they should do this and how they're going to be part of the journey of what he's doing. And I really do think that is the case.
Yeah. So I mean, they can claim favoritism, but it's like, why would they have favoritism? Because it's an impressive company with an impressive CEO, and he impressed them. What are you going to do? Do better, dumbasses.
Yeah, learn to skateboard or something. I don't know.
Get good, scrub.
Yes.
Oh, you're mad SpaceX is beating you? Get good.
Yeah, you need a good salesman. Everything you do, you need a good proposal. You need a good salesman. If you come in and you're like, well, this is something that we do all the time. This normally works, and now it didn't work. Now you got to step it up.
Yeah.
Cry about it. Somebody put in more work than you in one aspect or another.
Mm-hmm. Or just better work some way. It's like, sorry. I mean, what are these companies? Because we talked about this before when they were saying they had some sort of, favoritism when it came to the lunar lander project. And it's like,
yeah. So this one has nothing to do with contracts, right? Because this is an authorization thing. So I don't know what sold them. It would probably be the same process in many ways. Like it's a convincing. You're convincing somebody to let you do something you weren't able to do before. And they're not the first company that's tried convincing the FCC to let them go into lower orbit, but this time SpaceX has actually done a good job. They've sold it on why you should let us be closer to the Earth than we were before.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only other you have to believe, like, if someone's going to complain about it and say there was some sort of favoritism, the only thing I can think of is that they're suggesting there was like actual bribery going on.
Yeah,
because otherwise,
I don't think there's bribery going on.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, otherwise it's just, okay, they did a better job of convincing them.
Yeah.
Suck it up. Do better next time. I mean, and potentially it could be good for everyone because now, okay, so some other company comes along and they say, well, we want to do a low Earth orbit. They could say, you let them do it.
Yeah, it might be easier to convince it with that on the table.
Yeah, could be good for everyone. So, Starlink is like internet via satellite?
No. Though, I mean, you probably could do that. It's just communications in general. It is used for SpaceX, so it's what it lets them navigate their unmanned launches and things like that. It lets them use drone communication. It's almost like a web. It's a constellation of satellites that are around the planet. You could potentially use it for internet.
Are they not being used for any kind of commercial purpose?
I'm not aware of everything that Starlink does right now. I do not believe that Starlink does internet, but they could. I'm not aware. The main purpose of it is for SpaceX's communication uses. Whether it does more, I'm just not privy to that knowledge.
How do they call it? A constellation. Wow, so they actually fire these things up into space, like 60 at a time.
Yeah.
And then they break apart and go into their designated locations.
Yeah. Now, talking about favoritism too, it's not like this was an easy plea. There were more than 200 filings for this. It was in heated debate. But that could be a small number. I don't know how many filings their competition's done for similar things, right? Some people may have filed well over like 500 times.
Yeah.
And one of it is the more they modify these satellites, the more they launch up, there's more electromagnetic interference, greater risk of satellite collisions, orbital debris, stuff like that. So you do have to make a pretty good plea for why they should let you do stuff like this.
Wow, wait a minute. So according to Wikipedia, the FCC has approved up to 12,000 Starlink satellites. That must include some higher orbit ones too.
Yeah, I don't think that's the low orbit stuff. They have them in several different like ranges.
But apparently in 2019, the FCC submitted filings to the International Telecommunication Union on SpaceX's behalf for 30,000 additional Starlink satellites. How many freaking satellites do they need?
Have you actually seen the map? I'm gonna see if I can find it. The orbit map around Earth.
I think I have. It's just a cloud.
Yeah. Well, because they have to make it look bigger than the things out there. Like obviously everything is so small and far apart that we can see through it without seeing anything. But
it's funny because like obviously there's rockets going up with these satellites like every day, just hundreds of them all the time, thousands, and we just don't know about it
because there are more than 19,000 satellites orbiting the planet right now.
Wow, it's amazing.
Here we go.
Well, people don't realize that like
the interactive map. I'll go put it up on the screen for any live viewers who get to see this. If I can find my window capture. Yeah. So this is the satellite map, zoomed out far enough that you can see all of the satellites, right? And if you guys have the YouTube up or whatever, it'll be like a live delay, but it looks like just a cloud Most of it is within a single orbit that it follows each other. It creates like these rings, but there's a good amount of it that's just everywhere. And even the closer you get to Earth, that's where low orbit is. It almost looks like there's this white cloud around Earth. You can't even see the sea and stuff. And that's scaling all the images up big enough so that you can see all of the satellites.
Yeah, because from this distance, it would be like microscopic.
Yeah. So I can zoom in more, and the more I zoom in, you can see. And as I pull up closer to the Earth, you can see where the low orbit satellites are. This is the type we're talking about, the range that they're arguing for. This is about the range. I've got like a white dot there, where the International Space Station is. Where my mouse is on the screen, this little blue dot. That's about where the ISS is. That's how close to the Earth it is.
So those ones that are farther out are like way out.
Yes.
Like, what is the point of those?
Yeah.
Are those able to communicate? Like, yeah, look how far out they are.
Yeah, no, they communicate no problem though. Because you got to think, this only shows the satellite. So if I zoom out more, it doesn't actually show you where the moon is. The moon is pretty dang far from the Earth. To let people understand how far the moon is, at current travel, it takes about a week or so to get there. And you can fit every single planet in our solar system, including the Earth itself, back to back between the Earth and the moon. And there's still a little bit of space left over. That's how far away the moon is from us.
Jupiter.
Yeah. Yes, including Jupiter and Saturn and all those massive planets touching each other. You could fit them in between the Earth and the moon.
Well, that's what I was saying, is that like people are concerned about space debris, and I guess it's a real concern. But I think what people don't realize is that how unbelievably massive the scale is here. Like
you could see this stuff.
You could take all the satellites and put them on random places on Earth. I mean, just on the land, and like never find them. Like if you were just like searching for them and they were in random
but the low Earth satellites are really where the fear for space debris comes from, because even though they are very far apart, and you can still do exactly what you just said, they have a higher chance of colliding with each other, and they have a higher chance of actually making it into the atmosphere, because technically they're in atmosphere right now. A lot of them are touching the outer edges of the stratosphere, and there's less particles that will burn them up on their way in. Right? There's less friction. While anything else that were to try to travel through Earth, there's particles out in space that they would start colliding with before they even hit our atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm far less concerned about if they enter Earth's atmosphere. Chances are most of it will burn up.
Yes, it's if there's like really large chunks that are left. That's what might actually hit something.
And but most likely it'll land in the ocean or in some remote.
Yeah, it's like 70% of our surface area is about water, ocean, and seas and stuff.
Yeah.
What are the actual odds? Do we know the actual odds?
No, I don't know the actual odds of it hitting. It's very, very low. You're far more likely to hit by lightning more than once in a row.
Than like a person getting hit by a satellite?
Yes. Now, the odds of it hitting land is not that bad. But there's also so much unoccupied space on the Earth, and it wouldn't leave that big of a crater. Like, we've seen satellites coming down and videos over, like, Moscow and stuff like that. But then it goes off into the countryside. The odds of it hitting a person, you're far more likely to get hit by lightning more than once.
Yeah.
So there have been people that have been hit by lightning bolts more than once.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Actually, if you're going to get hit by lightning, the odds are you're probably going to get hit more than once. Just because you.
Why is that? Because I have heard that also.
Yeah. Here, I can actually explain that to you. Let me take this away. We don't need it anymore. So, it's actually rare for you to get struck by lightning at all. because of circumstances. Electricity, or all forces of nature, but specifically electricity, follows the path of least resistance. So you're very likely, if you are standing out in a field with nothing tall around you, to get hit by lightning because all of a sudden you are the tallest thing around you. But if you are in a city, if you're in a forest, or just almost any other environment, lightning is far more likely to hit the tallest object first than it is to hit you. But there's also other circumstances that might make you more attractive. You might become the path of least resistance. Say if you're out golfing and you hold an aluminum golf club above your head because you're about to, make a swing, or you're on a ladder with power tools on you and you're electrically conductive or anything like that. So if you become the path of least resistance and there's multiple lightning strikes around you, you up your chance of being the most likely thing to get hit. So you will likely be hit more than once. Some people are electrically charged and more likely to be hit by lightning than other people.
That's what I heard. I know I've heard that like once you get hit by lightning, your odds of getting hit again go up.
I don't know how true
I
that
don't
is.
understand.
Some people have higher iron contents in their blood and magnesium and stuff like that. It's not a huge difference, but we have found that there are people that are more electrically charged than other people. Like this is a real thing that we have found.
I think it's the dumbass effect. If you're dumb enough to go golfing in the lightning once, you're probably dumb enough to go.
Yeah, so there's a specific case. I can't remember his name. Very famous golfer. I think it's like Pat something. He was the dude in Happy Gilmore that was always shaking his head, and also when Grizzly Adams did have a beard. He was the actual golfer.
Yeah.
He was golfing in a thunderstorm, and everybody else was called in, and he wanted to continue the tournament. Right? He was still playing, and he's like, "Listen, if God wants me to stop playing golf right now, He can tell me Himself." And then he pulled up his club and got struck almost immediately afterwards. This happened to him 3 different times in his career.
Reminds me of the priest in Caddyshack?
Yeah.
Who gets struck by lightning? He's like having the best golf game of his life, playing in the middle of a rainstorm.
Yeah.
And then he gets struck by lightning, and then the next thing you know, he's all drunk, and he's like, "There is no God."
Well, I think with Pat specifically, it was the other way around. It made him start believing in God.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I mean, unless it does some sort of, I don't know, like it's weird because like lightning can like strike a tree and cut it right down the middle, right?
Yes.
At the same time, I've heard that lightning, even though it's extraordinarily hot, it's so fast, it's not likely to burn you. So
yes, there's an explanation
you
for
like
this.
in the head, is it gonna like cut you in half, or is it not gonna burn? It's not.
So humans are very good conductors, which is the reason why we don't just get killed by lightning. We don't just like explode from the energy coming into us. A tree is wood, not a very good conductor. Wood's an insulator. So the actual heat and force of the lightning, there's a lot of joules behind a bolt of lightning. Will snap it in half and even set the remaining pieces on fire because of the heat from it. A human, on the other hand, we're kind of a mixture of a bunch of things. We're mostly gelatinous when you look at us, but we're very good conductors. Yeah, mostly water, but we're water mixed with fluids that creates like a gelatinous heap that's supported by bones and nerve structures and tendons.
Well, it's salt water, which is basically we've got electrolytes, which conduct electricity.
Yes, I mean we need it. Electricity is how we tell our body to do the things that it needs to do. We're electrical machines, and when we get hit, most of the time we're grounded too, because we are creatures that stand on the ground. There's actually been cases of birds that have been struck by lightning and have exploded, and the only reason we found that out is because we have cameras that are looking at things now. right? And it just happened to catch this shit. But humans, we're grounded out, so the lightning travels so fast that by the time it hits us, it just goes straight through our body into the ground. People do get nerve damage and stuff like that. You've probably seen people where they have like the web on their back, and it's literally just the nerves have singed the flesh around it, and it creates like almost like a tattoo of their nerve structure. But we're lucky that we are just so conductive and always grounded that lightning is not necessarily a death sentence for somebody.
Well, and interestingly, I've heard that, you know, the reason, like, if you're out in a lightning storm, if you're in your car, or you can get in your car, that's a safe place to go.
Yes.
Not because it's grounded, not because of the tires, but because it's effectively a Faraday cage.
Yes.
Where if the lightning strikes it, it'll go around the edges and it won't.
Yeah, because the frame of your car is much more conductive than you are.
Yeah.
The tires do help, though, because that lightning needs to go somewhere after it hits the frame of your car.
Well, the fact that it's touching the ground helps. The tires being rubber doesn't necessarily help. You know,
no, I mean that you can make your tires out of anything but stone, and it would still be fine.
Yeah, as long as it's touching the ground, that's good. But yeah, don't stand under trees in a lightning storm, and don't go golfing in a lightning storm.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Is like the fact of the tree is the tree's so much taller than you, but you are actually more conductive than a tree is. So, if you were standing next to short trees, it's not going to help you out.
Yeah, but if you're standing next to a tall tree, there's a higher likelihood the tree's going to get hit and essentially explode and hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even that the lightning is necessarily going to hit you. It's that the tree's going to hit you if it gets struck by lightning.
At that point, the tree is more dangerous than the lightning is anyway, because you'd probably survive a strike of lightning. You probably won't survive half of a tree falling on you, because that thing probably weighs like well over a ton, depending on how big the tree is.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh shit. No, I was gonna say. Well, we talked about tornadoes. Interestingly, the one guy who died from that tornado in Nashville, he died from a tree falling on him because he was a dumbass. It was the middle of a lightning storm, and he stood under a tree. Now, in that case, the tornado knocked it down onto him, but still.
Yeah,
don't get
there's been cases of people who've been lifted up by tornadoes and they've survived. Almost all these cases, they've been knocked out in the process, so their body's completely limp, and they still took heavy injuries, but they survived, and that was the most important part.
Mm-hmm. You're better off finding a ditch, like even like the curb of a road. Just like get as low as you can and away from trees and stuff. Yeah, that was the one. The one death from that was actually death by tree.
Yeah, and statistically, like, we've figured this has probably been the case for a long time. Oh my god, is my music freaking out?
Which brings us back to your constant point, which is trees are evil, don't trust them.
Trees are evil, they're trying to kill you. Well, I was going to say, for a long time, most weather-related deaths, since we've started building things, have probably been collateral damage of the things we've built. Because very few things that we build are actually designed to help us against the weather. Levees and stuff like that. The actual structure of the house to keep us out of the rain and hail. But some of the most dangerous weather we've had, most of the deaths from it have been the things that we've constructed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, satellites.
Yeah.
So, according to what I'm reading, it is supposed to be an internet,
I don't know if they've started yet.
Or it's supposed to provide satellite internet access, which is what I thought, because I remember going on the Starlink website and they used to have like a pre-order sign-up thing.
Oh. Well, I know it was
they would email you.
Originally used for their communications. I don't know if that's just maybe that was the commercial aspect for selling the contract in the first place.
Although the Starlink website is down right now. Weirdly.
It's up for me. I just went to starlink.com.
In Chrome
in Brave,
or a different browser?
which is Chromium. But
Yeah,
I got it up.
Doesn't like Chrome. Oh yeah, that's weird. On Starfox, in Firefox it works fine. In Chrome it won't work.
High speed,
Doesn't like
low
Chrome.
latency.
Yeah, there you go. Order Starlink. Starlink is available to a limited number of users.
Yeah, I didn't know it
Orders
had
will
a
be-
commercial part to it. So
Yeah. I'm gonna put my address.
I mean, you'd expect there'd have to eventually be some type of commercial aspect to like almost anything, because where do you get the money to pay back the investment into it, right?
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Starlink is targeting coverage in your area in mid to late 2021. Whoa. $500 for the hardware and $100 a month for the service. Fuck that.
It has to be
Never mind.
really good, or else there's no way they could afford to go with that.
I guess. Jesus Christ.
But I'll
mean,
wait
what
until
I've
it
got
gets
now-
popular enough that the installment prices go down. Because I mean, the monthly fees, that's not that bad, but the installment price, like for the hardware, that's the horrible part. I'd rather just stick to landlines until then.
You know what we paid for our AT&T modem?
Yeah.
0.
It just comes with the service, right?
Yeah, and I mean it's technically like a lease or whatever you call it.
Yeah, you don't
they're
own it. You're
we're
like
borrowing
renting it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the service isn't that expensive. We're not paying $100 a month. But
You know why they get away with that though? Is because enough people are still getting AT&T's cable that it kind of subsidizes the internet costs for everybody. That's going to go up as soon as, because cable's been dying for quite some time. That the price
why
for
AT&T is so low?
Yeah. Why it's so low is because the cable price subsidizes the internet. As more and more people ditch cable, the prices are going to go up.
Sure. Yeah. Now ours is actually technically, whatever. It's over the phone lines. It's not over coax. But comparable to Comcast or Cox or whatever. Well, I'll tell you. I mean, the big deal with this is that, at least to me, is that you're going to get access in places that you're just not going to get cable, right?
That you can't run lines.
Rural areas, right? Or they were talking about like this polar, or the low Earth orbit was going to allow them to give access in polar regions, stuff like that. So it's cool for those people.
What'll be the cool place too is there are certain places in the world that are inhabited but basically just disconnected from everything except like practical mail, and you only get so many deliveries, like maybe a month or a quarter or something like that, to these places. And this would probably end up connecting a lot of these places to everyone else.
Yeah. Which I guess is good, except, the downside to that is more people on Twitter. That's never a good thing.
Yeah. Well, usually the people in disconnected places tend to be a little more saner about reality to some degree. Like, a lot of them may have religious practices that are a little out there. But when it comes to the practical things about reality, a lot of them are just like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. Exactly. That's right. Well, good for SpaceX. It would be nice if I don't know anything about like what the speeds are and all that kind of stuff.
I don't either.
It's pretty good. But
well, if they use it for their drone and launch capacity as well, which is one of the main things I've always heard about Starlink, it's got to be pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, they need to work on that price. I'm not spending $500 on hardware. It's probably going to have to be replaced in 2 years or something.
I don't know. I'd have to really look into that, but I imagine one of the reasons it's so costly is because they're giving you good equipment.
Yeah, I guess.
Because people don't... I haven't really heard people having to replace their Teslas. It's just the people who are happen to be like really rich, and they're the type of people that compete with always needing the newest model of something. But like my cousin has a Tesla, like he has one of the earlier models, and he's still driving the same one that he's had since then. And it works just fine for him.
My allergies are kicking in, so I guess it's about time.
Yep, it is. It is exactly time for us to end the show. So thank you everybody for showing up on the panel and in the chat. If you enjoy the show, please share it with somebody that may also enjoy it. Help us grow. It'll make the channel better. And if you really want to help us grow, possibly donate. You know the link by now, streamlabs.com/vomitorium live, and we will see you all in the next episode. Catch you later.
Good night.